All right, this is a short demo on etching an intaglio matrix. Our matrix is just made out of plexiglass, and the only tool you need is this etching needle. Both sides are the exact same. They're both just pointy pieces of metal that will scratch into the surface of our plexi. The first thing you're gonna want to do is peel off this protective layer. Both sides have it. I usually just peel off both sides. You want to make sure you do that before you etch, because if you forget, you'll actually just etch the plastic, and when you go to print, it won't work. Here is my image. It just says demo. Yours will be much more interesting. Remember that whatever you're doing does still need to be reversed so that it prints the correct way when we go to print it on our nice paper. A big challenge of this project is doing a range of values. So values are lights and darks. With pencil, you can affect the value by pressure. So the harder you push down on the pencil, the darker it gets. That's not how etching works. So with an etching needle, to achieve value, you do what's called hatching or cross hatching. So what that means is that the closer lines are together, and the more lines you put, the darker it's going to appear. Let me zoom in on that. So if I want this to go darker on this end, I'm going to change directions. And again, put my lines really close together and kind of spread them out if I want it to get lighter. I could go again this direction. Essentially, if you want something to be completely black, you just go a ton of different directions until it's essentially all been scratched. So that is a value scale. That is something that you are going to be challenged to do with this project, to have a range of values. So areas that are dark, areas that are light, and several areas in between. So we'll call that good for the demo's sake. The first thing I'm gonna do is put my matrix right on top. You don't have to transfer it because it's see-through, which is kind of nice. I like to tape it down so it's not gonna wiggle and my image isn't gonna shift at all. And then etching is literally just scratching into the surface. I'm gonna zoom in one more time. I'm gonna start on the D. So what I like to do is just do a soft etch and then go over my line several times. And you're not gonna be able to see in the video until I hold it up to some light. So having a phone or a flashlight next to you can be kind of helpful to kind of see where you've etched. The reason I don't just push down hard from the get-go is sometimes the plexiglass makes your etching needle have a mind of its own. So you kind of want to start off soft and then go over it a couple times to make sure it's really etched in there. And you'll be able to feel it across the surface. You don't need to go over it 20 times, just once or twice will be enough. The thing that you want to remember is that what you are etching is what's going to hold the ink. So it's opposite from relief where you carve away the white. On this one, you are etching where you want it to be black. So if I want this letter to be really dark, I'm going to start etching in one direction, change directions, etch another direction. And I do want my lines to be precise. I don't want to just kind of scribble them in there. So try to find a method so that it looks nice and neat when we go to print it. And this one I'm changing a bunch of directions because I really want this to be dark, and then I'll trail off as my letters get lighter. If you don't etch it quite deep enough, it will print, but you'll have a really hard time getting images that aren't salty. Remember that salty means there's not enough ink. So a really shallow or light etch, it's really easy to take out too much ink, and you'll see that in the next demo. So I'm gonna go through and etch the rest of my demo, and then you can click the next one to watch the printing process.